Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today I am going to take some inspiration from Rachael Marie. I'll have her channel linked down below. And I'm going to read some bad reviews from my favorite books. So I'm just going to start out at the top in Pine Neverland and see what people thought about that book. So I'm getting the nice computer light in my face right now, but that's alright. So let's see. Neverland has 167 ratings and 67 reviews, and it has an average rating of 4.16. So let's see, Grace rated it 4 stars, and she's the one that actually first introduced me to this book, so I'll have her channel linked down below as well. Let's see, 4 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5, 4, 5, 5. This is going pretty great. I have yet to see a bad review. Here we go. Rating 2 stars. Trigger warning, suicide, self-harm, drinking, and drugs. Let's see what she has to say. I had trouble liking this book because I really couldn't give a crap about Kit. Kit's the main character. She's a dickhead. And maybe she's supposed to be like that, but it made me actively want her to die. Alright. And the worst thing is, she doesn't even grow up as a character. All she does is constantly enable her mentally ill friends into doing things that are detrimental to their health. This was overall a mediocre book, but I feel morally compelled to take a star off my rating because of the constant negative critique of psychiatric care, therapy, and medication. Kit refuses to take medication because it will turn her into a zombie, and yet she's kind of spoiling some of the plot here. Therapy is a joke to her, and I just want to punch Kit over and over again. If you want to punch someone over and over again, maybe you need some therapy. Alright, so I don't agree that she's a dickhead, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I just don't think she got the character, which is fine. I think if you haven't struggled with the things that Kit has struggled with, I don't think you're gonna get it. And the way she's saying that she thought therapy was a joke and stuff, it's like, yeah, if she had realized how much therapy could help, she probably would have gone to a therapist sooner. That's kind of what the book was about, but that's alright. Of course I don't agree with what this review says, but I feel like that person has probably not struggled the way that Kit has, and therefore can't see where she's coming from, which is fair enough. Let's see if I can find any other bad reviews. I'm seeing a lot of good ones, which is really great, but most of these are 4 or 5 stars. There's a few 3 stars. A lot of it is, it's like they're expecting it to be a Peter Pan retelling, and it's really not. It's more of a Peter Pan inspired book. I'll find another 2-star review. This book had so much potential, but I just couldn't deal with the romanticization of mental illness and so many cliches. Another solid reminder of why I avoid YA books about mental illness. Yeah, I don't think you understood it, which is fair enough. You can't make people understand. They either do or they don't. But that looks like it was all the negative reviews of Neverland. So if this does not make you inclined to read the book, I don't know what would. So we're gonna go to another one of my favorite books, which is of course Peter Pan. We're gonna see what people don't like about Peter Pan. So Peter Pan has an average rating of 4.09 stars. It has 220,303 ratings and 8,563 reviews. Look at the reviews. Not sure if I should do 1 star or 2 star. Alright, let's start with the first 1-star review. Oh boy, I'm not sure what to say other than I cannot think of one aspect I enjoyed about this book. I tend to gravitate towards dark, disturbing, and twisted stories, but this was just sad with no payoff. Each page felt like a chore to get through, and I didn't even find the illustrations redeeming. I am clearly in the minority, but I may have possibly been bit by the old. Heard the story so many times that the original felt like a rip-off bug. Definitely not my cup of tea, and I shall choose to bury my head in the sand and pretend this version does not exist. I don't really have anything to say to this review. I mean, it seems fair enough. Obviously this book just wasn't for her. Can't make everyone love what you love, you know? But I do think it might have been that I heard the story so many times that the original felt like a rip-off. Because if you're really familiar with the story, like some of the stuff still happens, but I do prefer the original one over any other. Yeah, the Disney one is good, but for different reasons. I'll read another one here. I'm not so sure that I can see why Peter Pan is such a beloved classic. G.M. Barrie's story of the boy who wouldn't grow up just didn't reach me, and I read it aloud to 4-year-old boy-girl twins. Oh, they enjoyed it, and I may have bred a love for the story in them that would last, which could be exactly why the story was endured parental reading. But no matter how much they liked Peter Pan, I could not see the appeal. Wendy drove me crazy, Peter grew increasingly annoying, Hook bored me stiff, there was too much violence, Barrie's narrative interjection grew to be too intrusive, and I generally felt a distinct lack of fun. About the only thing I liked about the book, besides it ending, was Tinkerbell. Her snooty, fairy arrogance always made me smile. I know I will incur the wrath of many when I say this, but I actually prefer the Disney version. Walt brought some real joy to the story, and while I will never read Peter Pan again, I will watch the movie. Probably tomorrow. I absolutely love the children of Peter Pan. Don't agree with too much violence, but I never read Peter Pan as a kid. I do understand the distinct lack of fun. I do think Disney's version does bring more fun to the story, because Peter Pan is a pretty dark story, so you're not gonna read it and get as much of a fun experience as you would watching the Disney movie adaptation of it. But if you go into it thinking that's what you're gonna get, then it's not really the book's fault, you know? I do agree with Tinkerbell. She is so funny, and she makes me smile as well. And it's okay to like the movie better than the book. I actually haven't read the play, but I do own it, so we'll get to it soon. I'm gonna see if I can find some that are a bit more negative. Let's see. Oh, how lovely. What a smashing tale for children. What a sweet little narrative about childhood and innocence. No, 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 no. This was a highly disturbing and even distasteful children's tale in my opinion, and I can only assume that the glowing reviews it seems to receive are based on the fact that too often we read this book wearing Disney blinkers, seeing what we want to and not recognizing its dark underbelly. So what were my problems? I'm afraid that there will have to be a list of there's simply too many. I think if you don't know that Peter Pan is a dark story, you will probably not like it that much, as I said earlier. But that's why I love it. I love how dark it is and how more real it makes it, you know? Let's look at the reasons that he has. Number one is the obvious violence delivered casually and without remorse throughout. I have no issue with violence, but not in a young children's narrative. I could agree to that, because as I said, I read Peter Pan as an adult, and I feel like it's not that much of actual children's. They don't show a lot of remorse. I will agree with that. In Peter's characterization, there is nothing appealing about this arrogant, deceitful, manipulative imp who cares for little but himself, and this never changes. I'm not gonna say his example because it's a spoiler, but I feel like he's misinterpreting Peter, because he's talking about how he forgets something. But Peter isn't a normal boy, you know, and I think he just hasn't gotten what the author is trying to do. I'm just not going to comment on that. I'm not going to go too in-depth here, but there's just a lot of, like he's talking about how the mom, Mrs. Darling, is like tidying up the children's minds, and how that's so wrong. Like, you don't understand what he's trying to do. He's talking about the writing and stuff, and this was written a long time ago. Like I'm starting to get annoyed because you can't just it's just like hating on the message, and Peter hates mothers, and it's like not really what he's trying to do though. I think you're just too old, you don't get it. We're just talking about how he's not like a good boy. Like, he's obviously not like a normal person. Not a normal boy wouldn't live that long anyway. Now my battery light is flashing. I'm gonna try and get to a few bad reviews of God's Grave before I have to wrap this up. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. We will see. Let's see 1-star reviews of God's Grave. Christoph Plow has an excruciating slow start. Relevant action does not occur until the last book. The story reminds me of the movies Gladiator and Spartacus. God's Grave has action from start to finish, and the movies you mentioned I haven't seen, but they sound cool. I unfortunately only got a few chapters in, and I decided it was too vulgar for me personally. I don't doubt it's a good story, but for me I couldn't look past that. And why are you reading a book you haven't read? That really bothers me. You haven't read it and you're like, I don't doubt it's a good story. Well, maybe don't read a book that you've only read a few chapters of because you don't think it will fit for you personally, well then it's not a fault of the book and you shouldn't read it. You should just... Gonna do some 2 stars as well. DNF at 20. Why are you reading a book that you haven't read? They're saying she doesn't care and blah blah. But she did love that scene of the gladiators. I'm like... Makes me so mad. Can you please don't read books that you haven't read? Because they might be really good. Matt, that's kind of all I have to say. The ending obviously made me want to know what happens in the next book, but honestly you missed your mark on this installment, Jay. It was lackluster, full of explosion and repetitive descriptive scenarios. The plot would have been cool if not padded with such YA nonsense. These books are not YA. They're so violent and bloody and full of sex, so... What YA nonsense are you talking about? Okay, I'm just gonna close it there because I'm getting really heated and I can't deal with this. So I'm just gonna wrap it up, have a cold drink, because don't read books you haven't read, guys. It really annoys me. Just DNF it, move on to the next one. It's all good. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you like this book or what books that you like that other people don't like. And if you want to hear me talk about more books, then press the subscribe button, maybe give this video a like, and I will chat to you in the comments and see you in my next video. Bye.